Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, and today we're going to be talking about Christian Assistance Ministry with Dawn White-Fosdick. But first, let's check in for the financial focus with Steve Warren, financial CEO for Successful People. He owns and operates Financial Planning HQ with his sons, Joseph and Jacob. I do this segment because, in addition to legal blind spots, I'd like to highlight a financial blind spot. We're here with Steve Warren, president of Financial Planning HQ. Welcome back.
It's great to be back, Todd, and Happy New Year to you. And I really did enjoy watching the shows with my two sons, Joseph and Jacob, and the insights that they gave to your audience. It was really cool to see them here and, engage with you and give you your audience some good advice.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
and,
great.
It was a pleasure to have them. It's been a while since you were on. Why don't we remind our audience of what Financial Planning HQ does for your clients?
Sure thing. That's a great idea. So Financial Planning HQ is set up as an independent registered investment advisor, and our clients are financially successful, and they have things in their life that are more important than money. And what we do is to help them to get their entire financial house in absolute perfect order.
You mean a 10 out of a 10?
I do, absolutely, yes. On a scale of 1 to 10, if 1 were the worst on the planet, and 10 being the role model for the planet, we get our clients to a 10. And so when we ask people, that question, like, how do you see yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate your own financial house? Most people will say a 6 or a 7. Sometimes I hear an 8.
Okay. Well, why do you think that is?
Gosh, I think it may be because most financial advisors, they offer primarily wealth management or they sell financial products like insurance and annuities, And so they don't offer a comprehensive written lifetime financial strategy that is aligned with the client's vision. So they don't, probably people that don't rate themselves closer to a 10 are missing a plan and a vision. The plan is synonymous with strategy. So the financial roadmap is the vision, and then the strategy, and those two together are the comprehensive written lifetime financial strategy. And most people just don't have that. There could also be a lack of tactical implementation, since most people tend to work with their subject matter experts in a vacuum, like a CPA or an attorney,
right,
or a wealth manager or insurance people, all these insurance people that your audience deals with. And so oftentimes these subject matter experts will make recommendations that never happen. And maybe that just disturbs people for whatever reason. And those could be some of the reasons, mainly a lack of a plan, I think.
Who are some of these subject matter experts that you're talking about?
Yeah, sure. The technicians that I'm referring to are the tax, your CPA, your audience's CPA, legal. So that could be a corporate attorney. It could be an attorney like yourself that specializes in wills and trusts and business type planning. Insurance people, to your audience, think about all the insurance people that you probably work with. Property and casualty, life insurance. There's so many different types of insurance that exist. Wealth management, and also the goal planning or the financial planning. So it's a tax, legal, every type of insurance that exists, goal planning or financial planning, and wealth management. Those are the 5 disciplines.
And you know what makes it a little more complicated is that banks offer some of those same types of insurance as well. And so you have people from different industries trying to sell you insurance. And of course, none of them talk to each other.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a remarkably great point.
So you do all those things for your clients?
Yeah, we do. And we do so much more than that. We basically do all of the heavy lifting. And, a couple of things that your audience can think about, like when you work with your CPA, is there a way that your CPA, or maybe does your CPA hold you accountable to get your taxes done by the 15th? And the answer to that is is probably no. So a lot of people end up filing extensions, and they have, in the back of their mind, I need to get this done,
Hmm.
later on in the fall. Um, Another thing I can think of from your wealth manager is there an investment policy statement that's actually a written document that outlines your financial objectives, your goals, and really has all of the guidelines for the proper foundation that your assets should be organized in. Do you know how much you're paying your advisor in dollars and cents? So when I ask that question, nobody ever knows. They just answer with a couple of sentences. They may have a percentage in mind, that sort of thing, but they're
Hmm.
really not clear in dollars and cents. I'm paying $20,500 to my advisor per year based on the assets I have under management. And it, to most people, it's just an unknown thing. And the other thing I wanted to mention are all of your legal documents set up properly. Like in Todd's discipline, wills, trusts, durable power of attorney, all of these documents have to be dialed in. And a lot of times, typical wealth advisors don't make sure that their clients get that done. So clients don't have that level 10 confidence that they could
Right.
have if they were all coordinated.
Yeah, that would be nice to have.
Yeah,
So, would you say that your role is more in leadership rather than the technical?
absolutely. I know because of the name of our company, Financial Planning HQ, people might think that we're financial planners. However, we're not. We work with a team of financial planners. And as you're mentioning, Todd, our role is financial CEO. And so we provide oversight on all of these subject matter experts that we were talking about just a little while ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that would be nice to have. I
Yeah.
understand you have a great book that you'd like to share with our audience.
Yes, absolutely. For those of you in the audience that would like to receive a copy of my favorite book, one of my favorite books, I'm happy to send that to you. It is a book that is a very easy read, and I think it can help in you identifying, what kind of an advisor you should be working with, whether you're a do-it-yourself or a financial delegator or a collaborator. The book is a great tool. It does come with a 20-minute phone meeting so that I can connect some of the key concepts in the book to the things that matter most to you. So if anyone in your audience is interested in receiving a copy of the book, they can give me a call, Steve Warren, at 210-685-2722. And that's 210-685-2722. And I'll get your address. We'll mail out the book, schedule a 20-minute phone meeting, and we'll go from there.
Great. That's a great offer that would be really helpful for them to start thinking about their values and their goals. We have a couple of minutes left, so I'd
Sure.
like to ask you about something that we discussed when you first started
Yeah.
coming on to the financial focus. Uh, you mentioned that paying a percentage of someone's investments as a fee to their investment advisor is not the best way to pay the fee. But the TV commercial says that that type of compensation is how fiduciaries are paid. So what's wrong with paying the investment advisor a percentage of assets under management?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the AUM model, assets under management model, is recognized as being a fiduciary standard. And if you think about how all of the investments that a client typically has, they have this checking account, money market account, savings account that pays very little interest. They have investments in real estate, perhaps. They have different accounts, and then they've got their investment accounts that are just really crushing it. So if you had been in the S&P 500 last year, just that by itself,
Mm-hmm.
Todd, you probably would have had a 17% return.
Wow.
And then your checking and savings account, maybe you're getting 2 or 3. Maybe if you have a money market, you can get up to 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just doesn't seem right that here is my best performing asset, and I'm taking money out of it to pay for my wealth management. I mean, think about that. So why isn't it paid out of my lowest performing asset
Mm-hmm.
instead of out of my best performing asset? And the other thing is, what's remarkable, this is truly remarkable. So if you have an investment advisor that you work with, they have hundreds of clients perhaps. And one client has 500,000, the other client has 5 million. They're everybody's paying a different fee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's ethical. There's like an ethical dilemma with
For the
it.
same service.
Yeah, even though it's recognized as a fiduciary standard, the AUM
Mm-hmm.
model, I'm challenging your audience to think about that, right? And the things that I said, I mean, is it really the best way for you to pay your advisor, or would you rather pay a flat fee and have everything done for you, getting your entire financial house in perfect order and not have it come out of your investments?
Something to think about. Call
It
Steve, get
did.
the book. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. In the beginning, God had one law: don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then he gave Moses the 10 Commandments. And now we have municipal, state, and federal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws, laws that might impact you without you knowing it. So listen to Talk Law Radio on the radio in San Antonio on 9:30 a.m. at 11 o'clock in the morning, and on Sundays at 4:30 in the afternoon on 9:30 a.m. Also, Houston, KNTH 1070 and 103.3 at 11 o'clock on Saturdays. If you miss it on Saturdays and Sundays, just listen on podcasts everywhere, Facebook and YouTube. In fact, go to YouTube, search for Talk Law Radio, and look for the Lady Justice in the red, white, and blue logo, and hit subscribe. That way you can listen to the show in bite-sized segments while you're walking the dog, washing the dishes, or working in the garage. Now we're going to be talking with Dawn White-Fosdick. We're going to be discussing Christian Assistance Ministry, also known as CAM, C-A-M. Dawn has been working with individuals, families, and children in San Antonio for the last 26 years. And you've been with Christian Assistance Ministry for the last 16 years.
Yes.
And she works for ways to intervene and reduce the impact of poverty, prevent homelessness, and find unique solutions for people experiencing homelessness. And you do that with a yes and attitude.
Yes.
And
I might explain that yes and.
I think I know where you got that,
Right.
because I've learned that as well. So you do that with innovative solutions and programming, including ways to improve early childhood education, provide healthcare in uncommon spaces, mental health care on the streets, and you work with law enforcement and the judicial system to advocate for clients who may fall through the cracks due to poverty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I really love the idea of this law perspective on my social service, daily work. It really is applicable.
Good. Yeah, we're going to talk about the hidden legal issue, blind spots that affect the same people that you help with. But before we start talking about the law, I'd like to say a prayer.
Sure.
Dear God, thank you for this day and for all the blessings that you give us. Help us. Please forgive us for our sins, for our mistakes, for doing the wrong thing, and for failing to follow your will. Help us to follow your will. Grant that all who are afflicted by the sorrows and burdens of this earthly life may find health, hope, and refreshment in the mercy of our Savior Christ. We pray for all who struggle in poverty, homelessness, and unemployment. Give them hope and dignity, and give us caring and generous hearts and strong and capable hands to help them to flourish and to serve and glorify you. We pray that you would bless Dawn's efforts and the efforts of Christian Assistance Ministry to share the love of Christ by providing immediate assistance and encouragement to people in crisis. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, Dawn, I want the audience to get to know you a little bit. And I know I told them all about your professional background,
Sure.
but we're going to get a little bit personal, starting with, how did you get so passionate about this issue and this field and this population?
Well, I think part of it began, I did grow up in a family that serving the Lord and having a Jesus following attitude was a part of our family life. So I experienced that with my parents. We moved, I went to 13 schools before I graduated. I lived all over the country, California, Texas, North Carolina, Minnesota. I experienced all sorts of people, and we went to any kind of church. So we were not a part of a denomination. My parents wanted to go to a church that represented Christ and following his message. And so we went to all different denominations, which really makes it perfect for me working at Christian Assistance Ministry. But the population that we serve, I came about it, I think naturally. I just like to help people. That I had a brother who died of a terminal illness when I was a young
I'm
child.
sorry.
Yep, thank you. And I just think all of that created the person I am as an adult today. And that's that understanding that there's a lot of hidden things behind the person you're seeing, and
Mhm.
loving them despite what they're portraying to you or their needs is more important than being right. Getting it right's important. And
That
so that,
takes a lot of courage.
sure, I think it does kind of. And then sometimes if you do have that personality, you jump into the deep end thinking that it'll all work out somehow.
Right. That's the yes and.
Yes, yes.
So you promised the audience you would tell us about that.
So yes, and I did theater growing up too. Loved it. And I joined a comedy improv troupe because you don't have to memorize any lines. You improvise the
Mhm.
scenes, like the show Whose Line Is It? Not Whose Line. Yeah, Whose Line Is It anyway?
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway, we the one of the lessons you learn in that is that you say yes to whatever anyone offers up to you. So if they walk on stage and they say to me, "Hi, Bob, I'm so glad that you're my grandpa," then even though I'm a girl, clearly I am now yes anding them. And not only am I saying I am a boy and my name's Bob and I'm your grandpa, but I'm
Mhm.
adding to it. And I just always thought that was wonderful. What would it be like in life if we said yes to more things that people offered up to us, but then we added something to it? We didn't say yes, but we said
Right.
yes, and.
Yeah.
And so as clients walk through our doors offering us things and situations and problems, our goal is to try to say yes to something that they need and come up with other solutions.
Wow, that's so powerful. I learned that same technique in regards to business and dealing with staff and
Sure.
issues at work, is to not shut people down with no, we can't do that right now, but yes, that's an idea that we can explore, and I'll get back to you next week.
Sure. It can be done in all sorts of ways. Absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about your passion. Can you tell us something fun about you or about your family? What do you like to do for fun?
Well, I love to decorate and I love fashion.
We can
And
see that.
so you asked me if I matched my glasses and my outfit and my purse, and every day I do that. And I often feel like it's a gift to the people I interact with, even my clients that I walk into every morning. They like to talk to me about that. You know, their
Mhm.
lives, a lot of the ones who are living on the streets, their lives are hard. Things looking pretty or talking about that. Somebody might think they don't want to talk about that. No, they do. I'm there to show that they are deserving of a professional who takes care of themselves and wants to look good for them too. And so that energizes my artistic side to dress up and to decorate my house and um, just do all of those kinds of
Yeah, I
things.
love that. My sister was into fashion, and she would say she could remember what she was doing that day if you just said, "Well, you were wearing the skirt and the blouse," and she'd, "Oh, I know exactly what I was doing that
That's
day."
right. That's right. Absolutely.
Tell us about CAM and Christian Assistance Ministry. We're here on 9:30 a.m. The Answer Talk Law Radio with Dawn White-Fosdick, and she's the president and CEO of CAM. So walk us through the history since its founding in 1977 and how it
Sure.
evolved.
Absolutely. So it came about because so churches downtown did see people struggling, and it's not unusual in cities for people to walk into churches and ask for help. And often it's the poor church secretary trying to determine maybe they've got a clothes closet or maybe they could give money, but it really is not a sophisticated strategy for helping people
Hmm.
long term, especially in a large city like this. And then the church, First Presbyterian Church, found a gentleman passed away on their front steps. They came in one Sunday morning and he was no longer alive.
Oh,
And they
wow.
had to ask themselves, what are we doing walking by people who are living on the streets in our neighborhood as churches? Are we following, what we preach
Hmm.
and caring for the least of these, for clothing them, for feeding them? And so they founded CAM. They visited another CAM in North Carolina, got an idea of how it might work. And 9 downtown churches said, we'll come together. We'll utilize similar volunteers, donated properties. We'll gather all of our items and our money, and in a strategic way, serve people that walk in the doors. And so now, almost 50 years later, we're in our 49th year this year. I always like to call us the emergency room of social services.
Mhm.
There's lots of nonprofits. They're like the specialists. They work on different issues. You can sign up for them. There's government support. But if today you can't feed your family, if today your utilities are going to be turned off, if today your brakes broke down and you had to repair your car and now you can't pay your water bill and you don't know how you're going to get to work, you can walk into CAM, no appointment required, no demographic requirement. It doesn't matter where you live, who you are, what your circumstances are. We'll be able to do something for you today. And then we connect you to the specialist. We're not supposed to be your long-term daily primary care physician,
Right.
but we do that for any clients, whether they're housed or unhoused. We do have become sort of a specialist with the unhoused, chronically homeless. We do see most of them daily. And we serve.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that next
yeah.
segment.
Okay.
This is Talk Law Radio. I'm with Dawn White-Fosdick, and she's the president and CEO of CAM, Christian Assistance Ministry in San Antonio and
Yes.
surrounding areas. And we're talking about everything that they can provide. And soon we'll be talking about some of the legal issues that the population you serve faces on a day-to-day basis. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And today I'm here with Dawn White-Fosdick, the president and CEO of Christian Assistance Ministry, also known as CAM, in San Antonio and surrounding areas. And we were just talking about her and how she became passionate about serving in San Antonio and serving people and showing the light of Christ. And we were just talking about the history of Christian Assistance Ministry, and she brought up how they serve people who are unhoused or homeless. And I wanted to talk about that some more right now.
Sure, absolutely. Did you want to ask me a question, or did you want me to go right into it?
Go right into it.
Yeah, so I mentioned before we serve those who are housed or unhoused. So possibly 75% of the clients we serve do have a home, and they just have that short-term crisis, or they have a long-term issue with poverty. But the unhoused population we serve is very specific. They are usually chronically homeless, struggling on the streets, have been for 5, 10, 15 years. They're the ones that the citizens of our city and any other city across the nation kind of notice the most. You don't know about the mom who might be couch surfing, or individuals who just got down on their luck and could stay in a shelter. Our clients cannot stay in a shelter. They are struggling so severely with their mental and physical illness, and combined with substance use issue and sometimes developmental delays, that they're hard to serve, and that is who we serve. We work on the streets and outside with them. Some of our clients don't come in. They can come daily to get something to eat. We set up porta potties so that they can have a dignified way to use the restroom. And that's also for our neighbors who have churches and stuff and don't want somebody using the restroom outside. We have daily showers. We have a free mailbox. They can use our address, 110 McCullough, as their address. We have over 600 people who use our address. And then as we begin to build a relationship relationship with them. We even are able to diagnose their mental health issues, provide free mental health care, pay for all of their medication, and truly help them get off the streets. Folks that people might think it's impossible to do that for, we can do it.
I'm going to play the opposite side and
Sure,
challenge you a little bit because
absolutely.
a lot of people may not know how you can provide all of those services to all of those people and have money in the bank. So, do you ever feel like you're taken advantage of, or are there strategies that you use to set limits, or how does all that work?
Sure, absolutely. In general, um, you can only get some kind of financial assistance from us once annually. Our goal is to help transition you to somebody who can address a bigger issue with you. So we have about 3 things we'll pay for financial assistance, but only once annually. If
Okay.
you're getting groceries from us, you can only come once every 60 days. So those are typically people who are housed. And then we're transitioning you to other options in community. Our unsheltered street homeless that we are serving probably will never be able to get a job. And I don't want to say never. There are some that we can work with and may be able to be successful. But these are people that are so severely paranoid, schizophrenic, have permanent brain damage due to going on and off medication and not having the medical care that they need,
Mm-hmm.
that just getting them housed, stable, help seeking, taking care of themselves is success to us. And so we're a low cost. We don't accept government support. We only receive about 2% of our money from any government, and that's the city gives us a small percentage to help with the showers. And that's just because they wanted somebody to run showers. And they said, if
Right.
you'll do it, we'll pay for it. And I said, okay. And most of the money, we have volunteers, so we spend limited dollars. I have some staff, and we have good donors who recognize that if I can get someone off the street, then that's a $25,000 savings per year for
Mm-hmm.
our city. Really, probably 30 to 45,000 if you think about police, the hospitals, the social workers that are doing all of this work. If we can intervene and be a safe place for them to come and build a relationship with them and get them to transition into something, it is a well worth the investment.
You know, I was going to bring this up later, but since you brought it up, I can ask you because I had Mark Wittig on the show,
Uh-huh.
and he's with Housing First, and he has the Town Twin Village,
Yes.
and so I was going to ask you if you believed that philosophy, and it sounds like you do.
I do. I think that what we try to do when we talk about Housing First, because if you were looking at a homeless continuum, I always say we're practically off the continuum. These are people that even a local shelter can't bring in.
Mm-hmm.
I do think you need to prepare clients like this. And so I don't know that we've had a few ones who we moved immediately into a Housing First thing, and I don't think that was best. CAM is kind of an interim component of that, still believing in that,
Mm-hmm.
where we have outreach workers who work with our clients outside, staff members who've experienced homelessness. They have lived experience themselves, so they can say, look, bro, I've been where you are. I
Mm-hmm.
lost my children. I've been an addict, and get them to trust. Then we began healing them on the street, providing conversation, providing help to gain access to mental health care, as well as some substance use treatment. And then they do need to immediately move into some kind of housing situation, because once we see the real them start to come out and they're doing better, just being stuck on the street is really
Mm-hmm.
traumatic. I have a client right now who almost asks me daily. He's about 65. He has schizophrenia. He does well on what's called a long-acting injectable, which means we are able to give him a shot that lasts for 30 days that helps the
Mm-hmm.
voices and the wrong thinking. But I'm worried that he's still on the street.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
not going to make it much longer if we're not able to do something.
I see.
And to even be well. Once we start to get them well, it's a miracle. And we need
Mm-hmm.
to transition someone to a better place.
Wow, there's so much to unpack there. I'm overwhelmed by everything that you do for people. Uh, so we talked about people that don't have a house. I also want to save some time for the services that you provide for people that do have a house, but maybe they're on the verge of losing it because of something or another. You provide some financial assistance.
Mhm.
What are the other resources that you can guide them to as well?
Sure. So someone may come in and say, I just need some groceries and I just gained custody of my grandchildren. My daughter was killed in a car accident. I'm 70, I'm on a limited income, and I have 5 grandchildren. So immediately, she may not even know to ask us for this. We say we're going to need their birth certificates in order to enroll them in school. If you don't have all of them, which many people don't, we can pay for those. Each birth certificate costs $25. So that could be $125. We pay for her to get a birth
Mm-hmm.
certificate, talk her through that process, get clothing for all of the children. We may say, come back during back to school and we'll provide all of their school supplies based on their individual school, not just random school supplies, but the exact ones they will need. And before you leave, let's get you groceries so you can feed everybody. And then before you really leave, let me tell you how you can gain access to other food resources by zip code in your area, because it can't be us every week if you need that.
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, did you know that there's something called Grandparents as Parents? It's a nonprofit, and you need to enroll in that and find out what resources are available now for you and your family. So that would be an example of someone who, due to no circumstances of their own, are now trying to figure things
Right.
out.
That's a great example. I didn't realize how hard that would be, but you paint a perfect picture of what that would be like. How about somebody facing eviction from their apartment or their rental home?
Sure. Um, if we're not able to help with the rent, which is not usually something we do, we will talk to them about places in town that are providing that support. We can make referrals towards that. We might talk to the client about whether this is something they're going to be able to sustain. So, just coming up with money and giving the landlord some money that is not going to allow you to stay in your apartment may not be the
Mhm.
best solution. So I even talk to clients and my staff and volunteers who do the interview process about the fact that you may have to go homeless. Do you have a family member you could stay with temporarily to earn money? Could we get you into a program? Would it be a good idea to go to Haven for Hope or the SAM shelter, who also has transitional housing? We don't want you to be homeless and we don't want you to be on the street. So let's come up with a plan for it. If they're not completely stuck, they're just maybe behind a little bit. Let's talk about whether you can earn some extra income, and then we can pay for a few things that will alleviate the stress, whether that's groceries, paying your utility bill, and working towards, resolving this situation.
And the utilities, they provide some help, don't they? I mean, I see it on my bill. Do you want to contribute some
There
money?
are some specialized programs. So we are able to talk about the REAP program, the SEAP program. There's one that the city runs, that Bear County runs. So we might be able to help the client sign up for that. Even telling them how to do those processes and who to call. And sometimes, and that the CPS works with us. We can even notify CPS that we're giving the client some money to hold off so that their utilities are not turned off.
Mhm.
So there are some resolutions. It is very difficult. Being poor and getting stuck in that quagmire um, can be very problematic, especially if you've been sick or
Right.
you had some reason why you weren't earning income. It's like you keep staying behind, and we want to
Mhm.
try to help you catch up.
Yeah, and then those are good resources, but just helping them walk through that. I volunteered at the MAC to provide legal services for families that have
Mhm.
a disabled child, and they will ask a legal question, and we're allowed to give them an answer, but we don't necessarily provide any service for them right then. We can refer them to an attorney, and there were some times when I got the feeling like, even though I told her what the law is on and what she should do, I got the feeling like maybe she wasn't going to be able to connect all of those dots.
We call it navigating the system, and I find that to
Right.
be a primary service that we do. It's not really that we're giving away that much money. It's that we're walking people through the process and having a place they can call, they can walk into, sit across from somebody. We can call the people for them, like when they need to get their driver's license. If you
Mhm.
have nothing, then that is really hard to do.
Yeah, I
And so
bet.
we'll walk them through the process. We'll set their appointment. We'll tell them what they're going to have to do. We'll even do it in stages. And so people just need other people often to talk through these things.
Amen. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with Dawn White-Fosdick, the CEO and president of Christian Assistance Ministry. And it's our legacy segment.
And now it's time for the Talk Law Radio
There's a
Legacy
little
Spotlight. What's your legacy?
voiceover
Sponsored by
going on.
Marquardt Law Firm.
Okay. So Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm focus on business and estate law, including last wills, living trusts, and tax-protected inheritance plans. It's all about legacy. And so we like to ask our guest about legacy, which could be defined as the amount of money that you leave or property that you leave in your last will, or it could be lessons you've learned from those who have gone before you, lessons that you want to pass on, family values, that kind of thing. So when I say legacy, what comes to mind?
Well, I think two things. One, for myself and the work that I do and the choice to work in nonprofit, is that I want to come up with creative solutions that impact the processes that make it so difficult for people to be successful. And so if I can come up with creative solutions that live well beyond me, programming, services, outside of the box thinking, that can mean changed lives for people, not only today, but well into the future. I hope that that's been my legacy in my work, and helping others to understand how important it is and want to give towards those efforts and realize that they can also participate, that there's a deep legacy in us all working on this together. That would be what I want for myself personally, and for CAM, Christian Assistance Ministry. It's been around almost 50 years. I want it to be around in another 50 years. Not because I want there to be tragedy in the world, but I believe that there always are going to be people that struggle, that are in need, whether it's their fault or not any doing of their own. And what are we going to do to answer their call for help?
Well, I love that legacy. You have a big heart, and you have the courage to step out there and help people that are lost or confused or ill. And I'm sure that's not easy. Something that you said just now helped me remember something that Shannon talks to me about a lot is the dignity of the person, no matter the reason that they ended up wherever they are, they still are made in the image of God, and they're loved by Christ, and we should see them the same way. What are some of the ways that this population is discriminated against and face hardship because of where they are?
Well, I think that our processes and our desire to make sure that no one's conning anybody makes it really hard. If you don't have a phone, if you don't have a vehicle, making an appointment, getting on a
Mhm.
bus, meeting requirements, and I understand the need for them. I get it. It's just that is very hard on someone who is barely able to walk, maybe facing paranoid schizophrenia, has lost
Mhm.
their child, is struggling with addiction. All of those processes just make it so hard for them. And then they're turned away and they start to feel like they're not deserving of moving forward or doing anything. And so I do think that along those lines also that we want easy solutions. We don't like the fact that they're complicated, that
Mhm.
each person has to be thought about individually, and we have to come up with solutions like that. People don't want to see someone on the side of the street. They want the police or the courts or
Mhm.
someone to just take care of it. And they're not recognizing that that individual person is someone's mother, brother, sister, son, father. Um, who has individual needs. There's not just a silver bullet or one solution that's going to help all of those people. So I think dignity requires knowing the person as who they really are and coming up with solutions that they can really attain. And that is very hard.
Well, you're a professional at this.
That's true.
And so I figure over 16 years, you can probably see someone in genuine need versus somebody that's just trying to get something out of you. And forgive me for coming back with that same argument, but I hear lots of things, and I don't know where I came up with it, either in the news or on the radio, where some of the people that stand on the corner asking for money, that it's not really them that gets to keep the money. They have, some other low level criminal that's driving them around town to these
Mhm.
different corners, and they say you get to keep a percentage of the money, and because I drove you over here I get to keep part of the money. And so that's what most people see. E- if you don't go downtown,
Sure.
there's not as many people on the north side, living on the sidewalk. Is it helpful for when we pull up to the stoplight to give somebody $5, or is that $5 better spent giving to CAM or the church or some other
This is what
organization?
I say. Part of the time, I will say to people, if your heart is just guiding you to do that and you want to give somebody $1, okay. But actually, one of my street outreach workers who was an addict herself says that dollar can be the dollar or the $5 that he or she uses to kill themselves by
Mhm.
overdosing. So she would say to me, and tend to agree with her, we shouldn't be doing that. You not only may it be going to somebody who's disreputable, but it may be the money they use in order to overdose. So you really
Mhm.
haven't done something great. If you feel that compassionate, you can give water, you could give a bus ticket, you could give some socks or some crackers. Um, and then I would say, if you're feeling that way, that you really want to do something meaningful, then join up with the people that are doing this work. Hold hands with my team members like Jack and Heather, who do have the experience and know
Mhm.
what it's like. Whether you're doing it at CAM or SAM Ministries or Haven for Hope or Corazon, whatever organization fits the bill for how you want to serve, join them. Don't bring a bunch of pizzas under the bridge when we're providing food every single
Mhm.
day. In fact, I would say we'd love to not make 350 sandwiches 6 days a week. Tell us you'll do it one day a week and maybe you'll bring something
Oh,
different.
well, there's that.
That's a way to do
I
it.
actually had a friend, him and his family took sandwiches under the bridge, and everybody that was there that day, at least, was very disappointed. And so he was very disappointed that they weren't, thanking him and giving him hugs. but he could join the organization
Yes.
and make sandwiches with y'all,
Uh-huh.
and then that would accomplish the same thing.
Absolutely. And on holidays, we let our staff actually take a day off, and we rely on volunteers who want to do it on a Thanksgiving or on a Christmas. And they can come down with tacos, and we have our security there to make sure it's safe for everyone. And you could get a really welcomed experience in doing it in a safe, appropriate environment. And you'd be
Okay.
doing something for a lot of people.
My other thought was, if you're going to give $5 every time you stop at the stoplight, over the course of a month, that could be a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And so rather than do that, just write one check to Cam every month.
Sure. And know that all the things that we're purchasing and why we're doing it that are just major. We're paying for people's medication.
Mm-hmm.
We're helping them have shoes for their feet. Sometimes we buy steel-toed boots because they've started a job and they won't be able to start if they don't have steel-toed
Mm-hmm.
boots.
I've heard that.
So there's lots of ways that you can help and feel good about what you're doing and understand what we're doing if you join up with someone.
Well, thank you for mentioning the shoes, because I did see online a program you were doing, Souls for Souls.
Yes, we do that. We try to pick things that make it fun for people. So if you want to have a shoe drive in your office or your Sunday school class or on
Mhm.
your street, it's something fun to do. And we're desperate for shoes. We need men's work boots. We need tennis shoes, mostly comfortable shoes for men, women, and children, for people who are either walking on the streets or going to school, or people who have jobs and they actually have shoe requirements.
Last year, did Shannon tell you about my long underwear drive?
No, but
She and I, just on our own, started collecting long underwear for cold people.
oh, sweet. Well, we do work with the inclement weather. We pick people up. We provide
Oh,
warm
okay.
weather items. We watch the news like a hawk
Well, I
because
kn-
we're scared the clients are going to be freezing. Anyway,
right. Well, I know you're doing a coat drive
we
right
do.
now, right?
Well, actually, yes, 5-Star Cleaners is doing one with
Okay.
us and they bring them to us. In fact, I'm getting ready to do something on Friday about that. But yes, we pass out those kind of items, and not just to us, but the police come by our warehouse and we give them a code and they can walk in and get items for clients they're seeing and serving on the street. So it's a real community effort.
Well, the reason that I came up with this long underwear idea is because when I was a young child, my dad would take my brother and me skiing, and he would get us long underwear
Mhm.
for that. And then I would come home and go back to school and freeze to death. And I didn't ever put those two things together, but when I became an adult and started doing my own shopping, thought, I'm going to buy long underwear and I'm going to wear it to work
Right.
because I don't want to be cold. And so I thought the same thing for people that live on the street. You know, yeah, it's nice to have a big, heavy coat, but if you have long underwear,
Layers are helpful here with our
Yeah.
weather. And actually, I want to tell with you that some of our clients who are housed are men, women, and children who have a home, do not have warm homes. Sometimes they may be living in their home with no utilities. And so being able to sleep in long underwear and layers are equally
well,
as
let
important.
me help you do the long underwear drive again.
All right.
And I think Shannon and I helped 77 people last year get warm.
Nice.
But we took all that to Haven for Hope, and I think this year we'll take it to Christian Assistance Ministry.
Well, thank you. We would appreciate it because on those cold mornings, we're texting each other at 5 or 6 in the morning. I'll be, oh my gosh, I say it feels like 30 degrees. And so
Mhm.
we get there early and notice clients who are not dressed warmly and try to give them some things to sustain them temporarily until we officially open. We open our gates at 7:30, but anyway, it's vital and we're worried. So thank
Okay.
you.
Well, we have to end the show. I had so much fun. Thank you for joining us. In 15 seconds, is there anything else you want to tell them?
Well, if you're interested in CAM, please visit our website at cam-sa.org and learn how you could be a volunteer or write one of those one-time checks or monthly checks. We'd appreciate it.
Awesome. I'm Todd Marquardt. We'll talk to you later.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.